There are three primary nervous systems. There's the brain, there is the heart, and there is the gut. And there's a lot at the moment on trend is gut microbiome, vagus nerve, etc., etc. Really, really important. I'm like, why is no one talking about the heart yet? Now, if you pardon the pun, that's very close to my heart. As many of you know, my journey with this started over 20 years ago with a relapsing pericarditis, which was the peri around heart-itis inflammation. So I had an inflammation around my heart. I had to go on a long journey of understanding why my body was attacking itself with that autoimmune disease, and to get myself off the medication and be free of pain as I am today. There is a nervous system around our heart. When we look at the development of the nervous system at an embryonic level, the gut actually and the heart nervous systems grow much earlier and much more completely than the brain does actually. Now, of course, some would say, well, that's because it's not as complicated as the brain. And well, yes, you can look at them as three buds actually. When you look at the development of the central nervous system, you can see them growing as three buds. And why we forget the heart in all of this lot, I really don't know. And so information coming up the vagus feeds information to our brain. So it's a bit like, well, it's almost like you've got a mouse and a keyboard. Well, the computer's not a lot of use without a mouse and a keyboard. I'd like to think that the nervous system around our gut and our heart's a little bit more complicated than a computer mouse. But fundamentally, this is no use if it doesn't actually have information coming into it, because you can't do anything with it. The nervous system of the heart and the gut go up via the vagus nerve. Now, there are, depending on the literature, it's 80 to 90% of the nerve endings that make up the vagus nerve are what we call afferent. Afferent going to, efferent going out. Yeah, so afferent going to the brain. And we have to look at that and go, well, okay, so what does that mean? What does that imply? Well, it rather implies that the heart and the gut, actually, rather than going, well, the brain's telling it what to do. Well, yes, because it might say it needs to dilate or increase, the activity within the gut or et cetera, et cetera. But really, surely it's rather implying that the gut and the heart are telling the brain quite a lot of information and kind of what to do. If we look in Chinese medicine, then they have the upper, middle and lower jiao. Excuse my pronunciation if I'm getting that wrong. And they were seen as energy centers which were connected through triple warmer, triple heater. And so there were three centers which would have movement flowing through them. So they recognized that there was something important about these centers. We could look at it through the chakra system. If we go into Ayurveda, we've got third eye, we've got heart chakra, and we've got sacral chakra. We've got the hara. I mean, any martial artist, if we look at that, or we look at yoga, we look at many of the sort of Eastern traditions, the hara is the center of our being. Yeah, heart, gut, mind. These three things have to be related and in relation to each other. I talk a lot about relation to other people, but our relationship to ourself and our intra-relationship between these centers is an interesting way to view relationship. And if we can't relate, same as if we can't relate with our partners, then we're in trouble. And if these centers can't relate, then we're in trouble. So the heart, the gut and the brain should, in my opinion, all play a role, not with any greater importance than each other. And I think it's high time that we stopped thinking about the brain as being so important. I mean, it's pretty critically important. I'm not knocking that, but I mean, please, can we all start talking about the nervous systems around the heart, as well as the gut, which we are. But the heart math, we're knowing the impact of that. Here's a fascinating piece of information. Did you know that, yes, if you look at the electrostatic information on the brain and the heart, i.e. you do an EEG and an ECG, then when you give a stimulus to the person, a snake or a smiling child, you get a response in the heart rate, okay? And it fires brain, then heart. Now here's a really freaky thing. If you measure the electrostatic response in the brain and the heart, and then you measure the electromagnetic response in the heart, then you actually get an electromagnetic response in the heart first, then electromagnetic, then an electrostatic, then electrostatic. What does that mean in English? Our heart actually responds before our brain to stimuli around threat or safety in our nervous system. We're actually responding in some other part of our being before our brain. So please, can we stop thinking that the brain is the center of everything? It really isn't. And when there is a lot of brain-centric physios out there now, no brain, no pain. Well, no brain, you're dead. No heart, you're dead. We're an organism, we're a system, and everything plays a part. There isn't really much apart from your appendix or that you can take out of the human being as an organ and survive for very long. Everything's important, and we must look at the system as a whole. So even just as a nervous system, please let's start looking at the nervous system as a whole. Hi, I'm Roger. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons.